Hey everybody, welcome to the Tabletop Spotlight. I'm Adam.
And I'm Matt.
We're from Bowls and we're here to talk to you today about some really cool stuff happening in the tabletop world this past week and hopefully this weekend.
Well, and also last weekend.
Yeah.
Last weekend was
yeah.
Warhammer Day.
It was.
So
it was.
You are much more in tune with the Warhammer world in general.
Yes.
For those who are unaware, give me what is Warhammer Day?
Yeah, if you joined us last week, then you know that the upcoming weekend, this past weekend, now that time works that way,
right.
Was the 35th anniversary of Warhammer 40K, Warhammer 40,000. And Games Workshop hosted a Warhammer preview / celebration for Warhammer 40K. And they had some cool reveals over the weekend. So it was just kind of a big Warhammer preview show. If you've seen one of those before, it's just kind of a...
Was it like a live stream event?
Yeah.
Because I really know nothing about it other than what I've read on our website.
Right, which is Bell Souls.
Yeah, BellLSouls.net.
Yep.
Which you're probably on YouTube, I guess. Never mind.
So yeah, the stuff that happened during the show... Oh yeah, it was a live stream.
Right.
They did it on Saturday, and I was up watching it and kind of, not live tweeting, but like...
live posting,
live updating our website as it was going on.
Sure.
But
so what were some of the big was there any like big major news, or was it just like a sort of amalgam of different things?
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to that Saturday because I was really caffeinated that morning, but it started off with basically like a quick history of 40K, like the
sure,
various
like
editions.
a montage,
kind of a montage, yeah. Starting with like Rogue
course.
Trader, going through various editions and rules changes and kind of hitting some of the highlights.
Okay.
Then it kicked over to essentially the big star of the show was the new Astra Militarum stuff.
Right.
Right. That was, I think that was the first big thing, and they basically Imperial Guard if you're an old timer, but the Astra Militarum, Cadia if you're not familiar, blew up in the past storyline, but Cadia still
keep
stands.
hearing. I hear they stand pretty well.
They do, yeah.
Okay, good.
Cadia stands. They are still fighting the good fight against chaos and all things against the Imperium. They're getting a bunch of new models. That's the short of it.
Oh, right, yeah, because I know that's been one of the sort of big things that has been, because Abe, our resident, maybe not resident, but he's a 40K guru for sure. He's always loved Guard.
Mm-hmm.
And when the term Astra Militarum started becoming more prevalent, I thought they were two separate things for a little while, just to embarrass myself here. For a minute.
Yeah.
But I have not spoken to Abe about it, but I'm sure he's giddy.
Yeah, he's been pinging me. He's very
good.
He's ready for some new stuff.
How? Because these are some brand new Guard minis in plastic.
Correct. So
how long has it been roughly?
Oh God, I want to say there's the old Cadian models. Those guys got to be at least pushing 20 at this point.
Really? Wow.
But then they also throughout the years they've released various like command squad upgrades and things like that.
Sure.
Maybe
your
18 years.
Your little combat box kind of thing.
Yeah, like little like 5-man, 10-man squads.
Right,
with
squad
like,
box or whatever.
The Cadian command squads. They had one for Catachin command squads and stuff like that. And they have released new models for the Guard, like individual, like commissars are always a big thing. Like, we can crank out commissars are the lieutenants of the Astra Militarum, where they're just like, here's 1 million commissars, whatever.
I've seen the memes. I know at least a little bit of how commissars work.
They're lieutenants, the Space Marine lieutenant equivalent, essentially. Like, we need a new model. Here's a commissar. Anyway, so backing up a little bit, they showed off. Not counting the Shadow Vault reveal, during the little reveal, they showed off, I think it was like 6 to 8 new units, depending on how you slice it up. So, new Cadian Guard box, just regular troopers. They showed off new heavy weapon teams. They showed off new like artillery teams, which are really cool. They're on 100mm bases, like the big ovals.
So like a howitzer or something?
Yeah, essentially.
Ooh,
like there's like a multi-rocket pod looking thing and a giant howitzer and a big old heavy las cannon.
Right.
It's called a heavy las cannon. Las cannons were already heavy. So like you get the
do we have stats for that or
not yet?
Not yet.
I'm sure it's going to be like strength 12 or something ridiculous.
That's right.
It better be.
I've always really appreciated the Astra Militarum's. I'm trying. I'm shifting.
Yep.
the most realistic, or at least comparative to our system of military, organization that at least here in America, the way we do it.
They're the army,
right?
Like,
yeah,
they are GI Joes. They're the army. Like, I don't know. Like, I grew up near a straight up like army base, and the grunts in the army, like, they very much identified with the Astra Militarum, the Imperial Guard, for some odd reason.
Yeah, no, it's their. I like their theming. Just is very familiar, which is fun.
Yeah, exactly. They are the most, like you said, other than the fact that they use laser guns.
Well, as soon as humanity invents laser guns, bullets are out the window for sure.
So the guard reveals, they also, side note, they mentioned that the reveals were only about half of the new stuff coming.
Oh, wow.
So there's more on the way. And we already knew that there was like a new Ursula Creed character. She's the daughter of Usark. The big old Creed was the commander of the Cadian troopers that fell. Anyway, his daughter is taking up the mantle. We know she's out there.
The only one I know is Yarick.
Yeah,
because I'm a big orc fan. That's the only reason I know who Yarick is.
There's also the Kaskrin troopers that were in another reveal, the Shadow Vault reveal that they showed off, which is the second chapter of the Into the Dark series.
Right.
Which is, I believe that featured a Necron kill team and the new Imperial Guard Kaskrin with the metal. They're like the Stormtrooper elite hotshot las gun packing, special forces units of the Astra Militarum. That is also packed full of terrain, just like the Into the Dark set. It's continuing the story of the Gallodark.
The Gallodark. The box was Gallodark.
The box was Into the Dark. The
box was called Gallodark.
Yeah, the Space Hulk inside is the Gallodark.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, sure.
Yeah, I think it's actually the Gallodark Kill Zone, which is maybe what.
Right.
It's the inside of the Space Hulks.
Yeah.
The bulkheads. Corollary to that, Games Workshop also announced that they're coming out with a new book Warzone series thing called Arcs of Omen.
I've heard of it and don't know what it is.
This is pushing the story forward with Abaddon doing something with the Space Hulks and loading up a bunch of Chaos Troopers, and chaosy shenanigans are happening. And basically it's opening the door to a new way to play 40K with boarding actions specifically for this. And cool stuff in the Arcs of Omen books. They are not going to include like new army or unit rules or anything like that, but they are going to include rules on how to play this modified version of 40K with boarding actions. So basically you take the terrain from, say, like the Into the Dark set or the new upcoming Shadow Vault set or the boarding actions terrain set when that comes out, and you play like 500-point games of 40K, but
which is pretty small.
Yeah, it's slightly more than a kill team and a little bit right around the size of like the Vanguard boxes.
Yeah.
So combat patrol boxes, whatever you want to call them. They're right around that size. The neat thing about it is you can't take any monsters and you can't take any vehicles. So it's basically like infantry, close quarters, in corridor of Space Hulk fighting.
So this is how they're taking, rather than remake Space Hulk the board game, they're just taking 40K and applying it to playing Space Hulk the board game.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Right. Like we don't know yet.
Yeah.
We don't have any privileged information about that.
I hope because if you've ever played Space Hulk, you've probably got that itch in your head of like, man, this would be really fun if we got to play with like a different, because it's Gene Stealers versus Terminators.
And there's like a weird timer mechanic, and it's clearly not literally gonna be that.
Yeah. It's like, man, it'd be cool if we could take like, I don't know.
Right, just other armies.
Other armies in here. Like the Tau Breacher Squad, if I could take my Tau Breachers in here, or whatever, or just take regular Marines and do like a corridor fight. Ta-da!
Right.
So this is kind of the Space Hulk Battles game that you probably didn't know you wanted. So
it feels like this could be a really a good reinvigoration is probably not the word I'm exactly looking for, but just like a new way to play with the things you already have.
Exactly.
Is a really easy way to just get people sort of jump started back into things.
Exactly. And the play space you need for these games is a lot smaller than even a big,
right, a big table.
You probably only need like a dinner table's worth.
I would think maybe
like 2
3 by
boards.
3, something like that.
Like
3 by 4.
Exactly. I'm guessing it's probably going to be like a 3 by 3, if that. Basically, if you have the Into the Dark board,
right,
you probably need like 2 of those boards and then 2 sets of terrain, and you can play the stuff. But I'm really excited about it. I think I'm hoping the games are short and fast paced and brutal because it's
more
close
of a
quarters.
skirmish.
Yeah, 500-point skirmish games that are just boom, 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 boom. Blowing
that could be
up.
very cool.
Yeah, and again, the story is going to be moving forward with Abaddon.
Always like a good lore dump.
Yep,
for sure.
yep. Abaddon also, they had like a really creepy. Before I get to that, they also showed off a new World Eater model. Had to call out the World Eater.
He's like riding something.
He's riding a Juggernaut corn.
Yeah,
the Lord Invocator or something. Invocatus. I don't know. It's a corn berserker on a Juggernaut.
Yeah. Very cool.
I mean, come on. That's just
in my head. It was riding a motorcycle, but I didn't look too closely.
Big rhino, armored rhinos. Which come on. And then I want to skip ahead to the creepy ending. I'm sure I'm missing one more thing, but the creepy ending of it all was Abaddon
of the live stream.
Of the live stream,
okay.
Yeah, right at the very end of the live stream.
I forgot we were talking about Warhammer Day.
Yeah, at the very end of the Warhammer live stream, they showed this like minute-long video with like creepy mechano tendrils and like Abaddon like was back there and like they had this creepy voiceover. He's just like, I'm Abaddon, rah. And like they had this creepy voiceover that was like, Abaddon, dearest friend, there's a new power in the warp and like something yada yada yada. And it was very hard and mangled to understand. I watched it like 30 times to try to decipher it.
Sure.
And then like 5 minutes later, they posted it on the Warhammer community with like
transcript,
kind of a transcript, but not. And I was like, okay, this is what it said. But and then they showed this teaser for this weird, creepy demon mechanic thing. So it's either going to be Dark Mechanicus or something. Maybe a new Chaos God. I don't know if they're going to go that route, but that'd be pretty.
That
sweet.
would also be pretty wild,
right?
Like
right
out of the 2 options you've offered, I hope just some new Chaos God shows
I hope it's like a new Chaos God with the Dark Mechanicus as his servants, because they teased a lot of like mechanical like tendrils and like cords and like sentient like wires almost. I'm trying to remember the name of the movie, but there was like a really bad like 90s or early 2000 movie where the ship had downloaded an alien virus, this naval vessel, and like it started killing everybody and then like merging their bodies with part. It was a terrible horror movie. Anyway,
I don't know.
It's not The Signal, but whatever. Yeah, Warhammer Day was pretty crazy. It was fun. We've been writing.
Now you got me thinking about this movie.
Yeah, we've been writing up a bunch of roundups and articles about it on our website, BellSouls.net. So if you want to go pop over there and check those out and read those, you can. But in the meantime, and you should. We I worked really hard on those to get all the stuff to you. But in the meantime, we want to switch gears and show off some new tabletop stuff that you can pick up this very weekend. All right, we're back with some brand new tabletop goodies. We want to thank our friends at Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy here in Austin, Texas, for hooking us up today with these cool products that we're going to be showing off. And we're starting off with some of my new favorite stuff.
Yeah, we actually took a pretty close look at these a week,
2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah,
recently.
Yeah,
these are the new Marvel Crisis Protocol Sentinels, which we did an unboxing for, and you can see over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BellofLostSouls.
Nice segue, man.
Thank you.
The Sentinel Mark IV kit contains 2 Sentinels, which are the new. I love the X-Men from the 90s, like that cartoon. I grew up watching that. Play the arcade game a ton.
Of course.
But yeah, Sentinels always scared the crap out of me in that show because they were supposed to be menacing and creepy. And I love these Sentinels. Like the kit.
I was worried this was going to be a butt.
No. I think they did a great job updating and you played the Marvel vs. Capcom games.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. No,
so yeah, exactly.
That's all I remember.
So this kind of merges those vibes for me, where you've got like the Mark IV Sentinel Mark IV. There's 2 of them in here. Then there's also the Sentinel Prime,
Right.
who's a bigger version of the Sentinels. So he stands about like head and shoulders above the two Sentinels. So he's actually
Just about.
physically larger.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like your Master Mold, but not quite.
Right. Yes.
They work together. I found out too that there are 2 Team Tactics cards in here and 3 Team Tactic cards in here. So if you're wondering at home, they are their own faction, and I think there's going to be a Cassandra Nova character from the X-Men. She's not an X-Men member. But anyway, also going to be coming in the Crisis Protocol lineup for you. And then there's also, because we covered I think Nick Fury last week or the week before, whatever, Red Skull and the Hydra Troopers. So also out as well. If you want a different version of Red Skull, boom. These are very cool miniatures, and I'm glad to see them.
The Sentinels are very, like, they're good. They're cool. They're just, I was trying to think of some fun floral language, but no, they're just cool.
Yeah.
They're just really cool.
Yeah, I got to bring mine in. Because I've got them built, and I'm starting to paint them, and I've got one of them pretty much done. I got to finish the base up, but you've seen it, and I think I did a pretty good job matching the box art.
I agree. So. It's and one thing, because I am not a big hobby painter by any means, but this didn't look, or doesn't rather, just doesn't look like a complicated paint job, because it's it's like big armor plates.
Yeah, that was these miniatures kind of got me into wanting to play more Crisis Protocol and actually paint my Crisis Protocol stuff. Just because you're right, like the paint jobs on them they were not super complicated, but there's just a lot of little I think they call them griblies, so like the different like details, a little
like wires.
Yeah, there's just a lot of really cool doodads on these miniatures that pick up your painting stuff. So if you look closely at the boxes, there's a lot of like silver like scratches and stuff.
Yeah,
that just pick up the highlight or pick up the edge of the armor really well. So you can really go nuts with these, and they take to that comic booky look very well for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Or you can paint them more like miniatures wargaming style, where it's a bit more contained and maybe not as painterly as some other stuff. But I just think they're both of these kits are really cool, and Red Skull and Hydra Troopers are also. I'm not giving them a lot of attention, but I think they're really neat.
Right? No, Red Skull is also a good villain.
Good villain for sure. Anyway, these are all out this weekend. You should go pick them up. Matt, what do you got?
They cannot be fooled by illusions. I don't know why I said that on the back, and I thought it was a fun sentence. Okay, I'm gonna start with Unlock. This is a series of games that we have talked about. Well, the Unlock series we've talked about a bunch, but this is sort of a weird version. It's like Escape Room in a box, but this one specifically, Game Adventures, I don't know if there's like a subtitle I'm missing, but it's each of these escape room things is based off of another board game. So there's the Ticket to Ride, Mysterium, and Pandemic, each in that order of increasing difficulty.
Yeah.
And they don't, I mean, by the nature of the game, they don't really tell too much of how it works, but these escape room boxes are always a lot of fun.
Yeah, you picked up a couple and played them, right?
I've done the Cold Case, which we talked about however long ago at this point. But the Cold Case one was like just papers, but like this is like got some depth to it. There's like, I don't know, maybe there's some doodads in here, or maybe it is all just cards. I don't know. But I'm especially curious to see how they build the theme of these games. Like Ticket to Ride, like, all right, sure, that'd be a fun, interesting one. But like Mysterium, like if in case you don't know Mysterium is a game about a psychic communicating with a ghost. Yeah. And you have to interpret these weird art cards. It's a great game. If you don't know Mysterium, pick it up. It's a great party game.
Yeah.
But just like, how do you make, and then Pandemic, is going to be maybe a little spicy.
I'm curious too, because they have little summaries of each of the unlocks escape room type things on the back. And yeah, like you said, the Mysterium one to me is probably the closest to a traditional sounding one.
I would think so.
But like the Pandemic one is like, obviously there's an epidemic threatening and you have to work with your team to, I guess, solve it. But like,
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, that's how Unlock
Am I going to need a
works.
microscope and like
a
some beakers and stuff to solve this? I don't know. But then the Ticket to Ride one is just like you're on a railroad car and outsporting some tycoons or something. Sounds cool.
But what I really like about Unlock is it leans a lot into it's less of a like the cold case ones are very much like, all right, go through these newspaper clippings and do this and that. But Unlock is almost like a point and click adventure in how they work, where like you have to get these things and put them together. Yeah. It's just like there's a lot more like objects that you're collecting, and it's just it's a very different vibe. Yeah. But very good. Highly recommend. I really like Unlock.
Yeah. Game recommends ages 10 and up. About an hour probably per adventure per thing.
And difficulty scale.
Yeah, and it's 1 to 6 players. So great for small groups or larger groups. So check it out. Unlocks. Yeah. Highly recommend the Unlock series.
Absolutely.
Speaking of creepy adventures,
hey.
I don't know. This is The Darkest House from Monty Cook Games. This book is a doorway into a house of adventures. No, I mean, kind of.
I mean, depends what kind of adventures.
Yeah, so obviously this is dealing with a haunted house, right? Sure. The cool part about this, though, I think, is that it fits into any game or any system. Oh. There are rules or suggested rules that you can use at the front of this book that kind of help you integrate it into 5th edition, Monty Cook Cipher System, Powered by the Apocalypse, name other RPG system. You can take
lasers and feelings.
Yes, because
dread.
Yes, the way this game works, or the system works, is it's based on a location. So your adventuring party has come across this creepy house, and maybe it was on the edge of town, maybe you heard some rumors about treasure in there, maybe somebody disappeared and you're looking for them. You name the adventure hook, and this book has a way to integrate it into whatever campaign, whatever time period, whatever fantasy sci-fi system you want to use. But what's cool about this is once you actually get in here, like, you can't see the table of contents, but there's a lot of different things going on here.
That is a hefty table of contents.
Matt, you can see this stuff, but there's just pages and pages of puzzle rooms and monsters, like...
Oh, interesting. So like, they have it broken down to, like... It's very Captain Barbosa. These are not rules, these are guidelines.
Yeah,
it's like, here's an idea and how you could use it. But they're not going to be like, it's DC 15. Like,
yeah, and they have tables to help you do that if you want to have DC 15 checks. You know, that's like a 7 difficulty rating or whatever. So, but they've got it set up that way, and there is a backstory to the house that the players will hopefully try to get through to solve. But it gives you a bunch of different rooms to play around with, like 100 plus monsters and stuff. Like, I think this is a map, but I don't even know if I want to show that off as a spoiler. But I mean, just real quick. Seems important. Yeah, so don't know what that was. Web. Yeah, but this is a really cool resource for any game master, lore master, dungeon master, whatever, storyteller. If you want to run an adventure in a haunted house, this being October seems appropriate.
Oh, that's true.
This book has all the resources and tools you'll need to do that, and you can have this as something that your players keep coming back to. Or,
I mean, with that many rooms, absolutely.
And, you know, it's on how maybe rooms shift around. It's kind of creepy and fun.
Make this like a roguelike dungeon delve where every time you go in, it changes.
Absolutely. I saw one room in here where it, like, gravity warps and, like, the floor. There's some really cool, really creative stuff in here. There's a bunch of different monsters and, like, everything ranging from, like, killer dolls to psycho killers. I saw like a big centipede monster thing. You get all the horror stuff is in here. This is just really neat to me, like just the stuff here. And there's hundreds of downloadable player-facing maps, illustrations, and handouts. So if you flip through here, there's all these different QR codes that you can. I saw those. You can show your players to, or you can scan it and give to your players to do stuff with. So very cool. For $50, it's $49.99. I think you can get hundreds of game sessions out of here.
This is
ideas.
This is a really well designed product. Like
Yes,
I love the way that they are presenting these materials, like of being system agnostic, of being like, hey, the internet exists, let's utilize that.
Yeah.
Like, that is a really cool idea.
Props,
and plus Monty Cook. Like Monty Cook knows what he's doing.
Yeah, props to Monty Cook and Monty Cook Games. I think they have sounds you can download to play. Like, seriously?
That's
seriously?
cool.
Like, come on. Give this book a shot. I think, again, because it is system agnostic, you could fit this in any type of game. And again, if you're playing in D&D and it's a fantasy land, tweak some stuff. But you can use this for ideas. You can mine this for ideas for years of adventuring.
Very cool.
Very cool stuff.
All right. Speaking of Powered by the Apocalypse.
Hey-o.
This is the Fallout role-playing game starter set. We have done a Fallout RPG how to play over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BellofLostSouls. If you want. I mean, you're going back to Dragonflight with it.
It's true, it's true.
But Fallout RPG is like exactly what you'd expect. It is the Powered by the Apocalypse system.
Hang on. I'm going to get a stand for it.
Okay.
Keep going.
It's standing up fine, but that's so I won't stop you. So it's everything you would expect in a Fallout RPG. It gives you your whole special stats, like with the capital
special,
and right, special, not like special, but it's a as with any Powered by the Apocalypse system, it is just a really I say Powered by the Apocalypse. It's not Powered by the Apocalypse. It is a D20 system. I got the 2 in my head and I got mixed up. But it's very functionally similar.
I think you're thinking Powered by the Apocalypse because it's Fallout and the nuclear apocalypse.
Well, I was Powered by the Apocalypse because you roll 2 dice and that's all that my brain connected with. But no, this is the 2D20 system, which is a very mechanically similar, is just which dice sides you roll changes. But regardless of my goof there, it is still a really solid system, and it's the Fallout universe, which at this point has been around for 20 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know when Fallout 1 came out.
I think it's close to the 30th anniversary.
Maybe. I started on Fallout 2, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about it. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Not important. But Fallout RPG, if you're at all interested, this is the box to get. It has all of the source books and tokens and things that you might need. And
everything you need in this little box.
Yeah.
Dice, tokens, caps. Gotta have some caps.
Right. They have cap tokens that you can use. And
looks like a rule book and a quest book, too. So, character sheets. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there you go. That is Fallout RPG starter set, if you are interested.
It does say that every game has to start with war never changes when you start.
Sure. That's the first thing your GM has to say.
War never changes. You gotta hire Ron Perlman to come to your game and say that.
It's pretty expensive, but it's worth it.
If only. Speaking of pretty expensive but worth it, Lord of the Rings. I was trying to make a segue from like the Amazon.
How much is it? I don't know.
No, the game. This is actually not that expensive.
Okay, good.
But the Lord of the Rings TV show is just in my head.
Oh, sure.
Rings of Power. Anyway, Matt, you know I love Arkham, the card game, and I do appreciate the Fantasy Flight Games LCG systems.
Sure. I
have not talked a lot about Lord of the Rings, the card game.
I did not even know this was a thing.
Yeah, it's only my fault insofar that it's just there's so many cool card games that they do to talk about that this one sometimes slips under the radar, and I feel bad about it because it's really fun.
Cool. No, I'm excited to learn. Give me the elevator pitch.
So this is the Fellowship of the Ring Saga expansion. So similar to how they used to do Mythos packs for Arkham Horror, the card game, and they've switched to that dual box system where you can buy the investigator box and the campaign box. They're doing a similar thing for Lord of the Rings now. So this is the Fellowship of the Ring Saga expansion. Includes a bunch of cards and adventures in here to basically recreate the classic novel of novels, and then build a bunch of player decks and play through the story. It's neat because the Lord of the Rings card game, it has different chapters that follow various parts of the story, but you get to build player decks based on different characters from from the book series.
Sure.
And like you can have like the various dwarves and Aragorn or whatever, however you want to build your deck up, and then they allow you to access certain cards, and you compile it all together and play. But it's a co-op game. It's entirely cooperative, and similar to Arkham Horror. You play through a scenario, but instead of having location cards and stuff like that, you actually have like different like enemy cards that pop up, and you have to like
your Nazguls and what.
Yeah. I'm not doing it justice. It's a really fun game. It's really great for groups to get together, and it's almost like playing an RPG without a game master, because you can just pick up the core box. Obviously, you'll want that, and then one of these like saga expansions and play through there. It's designed for 1 to 4 players. You can play solo if you want to, but it is a lot of fun with more players and just having somebody else to help bail you out when you get into a jam. But it's entirely a co-op thing, so it's a lot of fun to play. And this is just out the new, Fellowship of the Ring Saga expansion. So go check out the Lord of the Rings LCG. It is a living card game, and now it's even easier to collect and play than previously. And I'm really glad FFG changed formats to these big boxes, because man, if you tried to jump into it even like 2 years ago, you wouldn't be able to do it as well, because they had a bunch of packs and expansions that came out and you can't find them all, but now you can. So
just one big box.
One big box to rule them all. See what I did there?
Speaking of one thing to rule them all, One Ring.
Nice segue. Hey.
Real quick, this is the One Ring RPG. Now I'll take that stand. One Ring RPG, similar to the Fallout one.
And this is the Ruins of the Lost Realm campaign supplement.
Yeah, campaign setting is not the right word, because the setting is Middle Earth, but this is the One Ring RPG. It's been sort of, because it's been around for a little while, but like it's getting a new wave of attention, I guess, is a good way to phrase it.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a TV show or something that came out, and people
you know what?
interested.
That makes sense. I never really. I'm not good at making connections of things, but yeah, I think you know more about this than I do. But I mean, for the most part, it's a campaign setting set in Middle Earth.
Yeah, roughly. There's essentially 3 sections in the book. The first section, I want to say, is like just the description of the regions. I believe the region I want to check is Eriador. So it's kind of Eriador is supposed to be kind of a ruined wasteland. Ooh, but maybe it's not.
Is that where the elves came from?
It's the lone lands described in the Lord of the Rings. So it's I don't know geographically where that's at, but I do remember that it's supposed to be like more of a ruins, desolate area, but maybe not so desolate. Ooh.
I guess so.
And then the second chunk is basically for the lore master. That's what they call him in this game instead of the game master. And they kind of go over some of the threats and characters you may come across. And then the last section is like more for like the geography and like the main sections.
Your valuable locations.
Yeah, there's like 12 locations that kind of.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's again. You said it earlier. It's a One Ring campaign supplement thing that you can kind of. I'm sure you could connect the dots really easily and use this as like an adventure book, but this is really more of like world building or filling in the blanks for certain areas and maybe coming up with some cool quest hooks for your party to engage with. So,
neat. All right.
It's $39, $39.99. It's if you are playing the One Ring or if you're just a Tolkien fan.
Yeah.
It seems like a really cool thing.
There's a lot of Lord of the Rings stuff going on for sure.
Yeah.
All right. And then I'm going to real quick wrap up with Catan Helpers. This is a mini expansion to your Catan and Catan Seafarers. It gives you 12? Somewhere, 12. I think it was 12. Yes, it gives you 12 new helper cards, and each helper card does a unique thing, like one of them... Thorgar, I think his name is, not important, will every time you roll a 7, basically he like prevents the robber from stealing your resources.
That's nice.
Yeah, It's just it's a really quick little addition that won't overcomplicate the game, but gives you a little more agency on how things play out.
There's 12 helpers that just run around and do various things. And Thorgar's my boy if he takes care of that stupid thief. Stupid thief.
Yeah, I think it's Thorgar. I don't remember.
And even if
his
it's not,
name.
that's what I'm going to call him now.
Sure.
So, the anti-thief.
Yes, so that is everything.
Yeah.
All right,
let's get the big pile of stuff out here. Lots of really cool products that you can pick up this weekend. I'm excited. I really want to check out this book, though, man. This horror book.
We got some very good RPG stuff today. I'm just gonna hold this up.
I don't know where I'm at. Stand. Anyway,
you did that to yourself.
I did do that. Oh, sorry, the one house, the darkest house. Anyway, we've rambled on long enough. This has been the Tabletop Spotlight. Once again, we'd like to thank our friends at Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy for hooking us up with these products to show off and tell you about. If you're here in Austin, Texas, you can pop by and say hi to them. And if you're not, support your local scene and go to your favorite local gaming store and buy stuff from them. But anyway, I have been Adam.
And I'm Matt.
We're from Bowles. Thanks so much for watching the Tabletop Spotlight, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
You didn't do the bye.
Oh, bye.
There you go.